Keegan. So Keegan, is there anything in particular you'd like to focus on this week for our family study?
Actually, there is. In science class this week we started studying evolution. It made me wonder how I could explain to people that the Bible is scientifically accurate.
Okay. Well, it's excellent that you want to prepare ahead of time for this. We do have every reason to be confident that the Bible is scientifically accurate. Now on page 11 of the Bible, it gives some scriptures that touch on science. I think these would be very helpful. Let's take a look at that. Maybe we'll get you to read the first one. It's Job 26 and verse 7.
He stretches out the northern sky over empty space, suspending the earth upon nothing.
Okay, so Keegan, did you notice in this verse something that agrees with science?
Well, it says that the earth is suspended on nothing. Scientists know that this is a fact today.
Exactly. And this scripture was written in the 5th century BCE, so about 3,500 years ago. Do you know what people thought back then that the earth was sitting on?
Didn't they believe it was resting on giant elephants that were standing on a giant turtle?
That's right. It wasn't until 3,000 years later that Newton proposed the idea that gravity held the earth upon nothing. Can you read the last scripture listed there? It's Isaiah 40 and 22.
Sure. There is one who dwells above the circle of the earth.
Now this scripture was written in the 8th century BCE, so it wasn't until centuries later that it became widely accepted that the earth was a circle. There's a B part to this scripture. I'll read that. It says, "He stretches out the heavens like a fine gauze." So here Isaiah is using poetic imagery to describe the heavens above. His description of stretching out the heavens like a fine gauze, it wasn't meant to explain the expansion of the physical universe, but it's truly amazing how this description fits in so well with modern science. Isaiah wrote this almost 3,000 years before man discovered that the universe really is expanding or stretching out. And when you look at a picture of a galaxy, it actually looks like gauze that is stretched out. So Isaiah didn't have powerful telescopes that we have today. So how could he give such an accurate description, do you think?
He was just inspired by Jehovah.
That's right. Let's look at one final scripture. It's not listed on page 11. It's Psalms 139 and verse 16. There it reads, "Your eyes even saw me as an embryo. All its parts were written in your book." What do you think this scripture is talking about?
I'm not sure.
Well, it mentions all our parts are down in writing. Scientists know now that all our parts are literally down in writing inside of DNA. This scripture was written in the 5th century BCE. Man has only known about DNA since the 1950s. So 2,400 years in advance, the Bible gave an accurate description of this. So after studying just these 3 scriptures, do you feel more prepared if someone asks you about the scientific accuracy of the Bible?
Yeah, these scriptures definitely show that the Bible agrees with science, but none of these scriptures prove evolution wrong, do they?
Well, think about the last scripture we read, which describes our parts being down in writing. Do you remember our brochure on the cell? How much information does our DNA contain, did it say?
I think it said that each of our cells contain enough information to fill over 400 encyclopedias.
That's right. And do you know where information in general comes from?
From people or from Jehovah?
Right, so intelligent beings. There's no other source of information known to man other than intelligence. This information in our DNA is the precise assembly instructions for building humans. We know that all this information must have come from an intelligent source. There's no intelligence with evolution, so evolution couldn't produce all this information. So this proves that we didn't evolve.
This is amazing stuff. I feel much more confident now to speak to my classmates or teacher.
Okay, good.